Very true indeed from these two teams. So through that first game, obviously we're going to see SoaR move up to 8 points so far. If they find the win here, they will get an additional 2 points for themselves. Meanwhile, Randozos as well, they can find 1 point here. Well, they need it really. If they find 1 point actually, that's the same amount of games they won last split already.
That's true.
Because the end of the season on 2 wins.
They were 2-26 already with 1 win so far. It was against Envious, and the way they've been playing before in the past, against Denial, they haven't had too much success. Against Eager, they have had a little bit more. So that last game, Randozos looked still pretty solid despite the last 5 to 10 minutes.
I feel bad for the Randozos here because, like any other season, I'd be like, listen, this is probably a mid-tier team overall with the way they play. But SoaR and the rest of North America are just so strong right now. They're making them look below average, which I don't think is very fair to them.
Especially when you're playing against players such as Baskin, andinster, Snoopy, who like have such land experience.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Well, it's Raijin, Ao Kwong, Nemesis, and Fafnir. It's the same sort of picks coming out from both of these two in terms of the bans, and Sol is taken once again for SoaR. Susano, once again available.
It worked out the first time around for Metyankey. Don't really want to change things because now this still gives flexibility if they want to put it onto Snoopy. This could give maybe a true traditional hunter for Metyankey. As I said, as I was about to say it, I'm actually about to say true traditional hunter in the dual lane.
In the dual lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a surprise. Vulcan gets through, though. Picked up by Randozos this time with Raijin being banned. And Thor has to go alongside it. They don't go for the rat this game. They want the secure with Thor walls and the ultimate to potentially set up this Vulcan.
It makes sense. And this time around, it's going to be andinster playing the Ratatoskr.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little setup because you have the Bacchus belly flop to initiate with the Intoxicate. And then andinster can look for the cleanup with his own ultimate.
I said a few days ago, I'm watching the rat at the moment because he's sneaking through a little bit more often, and I think other teams have started to realize that too now. A little bit more successful, and Susano being banned so much, when you start looking deeper into the junglers, because you expect to not be able to play that.
I mean, it makes sense to go for different styles. You have a lot of time to prepare for the land stage, so you want to be able to get as much practice with every single jungler up until, things get really haywire.
Completely agree. Wowy's going to lock in Chronos again, though, for the Randozos this time round, and it's into the counterban phase. Amaterasu immediately taken out. Baskin will not get to play that again.
No, it worked out in the mid to late game once he got to that form. Luckily for Baskin, he wasn't shut down that hard despite being 0-4. He didn't get his blue buff invaded that much. He didn't get his back harpy stolen from him. He even picked up some of these fire giant elementals, which is why you mentioned he was only down 400 gold with 4 deaths.
Which is quite insane overall. Guan Yu, though, taken out. They respect the play coming out from Wubbn on that last game and the sustain that actually impacted that game. But Rama taken out, respecting Snoopy, who could be taking that to the mid lane.
It could also be onto Metyankey for the Ram. You never really know with SoaR when they pick up the soul.
Geometry. For Hoyi as well. Sobek taken out by SoaR Gaming as well. Back to Randozos for their first pick. More than likely be the support here, and they'll hold the counter pick option here for Whalrus in the solo lane.
With the support pick, I would like to see an Athena with this Thor, Vulcan, Chronos combination. You always have to worry about this taunt setup. Gonna hold off to the very last pick, trying to get Vamana for Whalrus, trying to take that also away from Baskin.
Maybe just trying to give the game away what SoaR's rest of the comp's going to be to work out their support. I mean, Odin could be an option in some of this game as well against the Rat, and against SoaR, it's not too bad overall there. But we'll see how they work this one out. SoaR Gaming now need one more pick, and it is going to have to be either a Hunter for the mid lane or a Hunter for the dual lane.
We'll see. They have pretty good...
I'm so smart.
The magical damage from SoaR is pretty solid, on point so far with Sol and Bacchus coming out of the Guardian position with that Mad Guy's boots always. And it's going to be the Janus and Sol yet again for SoaR.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. And they're just expanding Snoopy's god pool, getting a bit more respect for him in the mid lane now. Not just playing Hunters. You can play Vulcan. He showed off Raijin games earlier on this year. Now he's showing off Janus too. And Athena with the final pick here. Athena not seen it as often as we used to like to see, but she still sets up a lot with the compositions she's with.
It's a great composition for Randozos in this 3v3 between support, mid, jungle, Thor, Vulcan, and Athena. Looking at the side of SoaR, it's going to be difficult for andinster to really look for these team fights if Jigz doesn't initiate.
Very, very true indeed. We'll have to see how that works out with them. Because Athena-Thor combo is immediately strong anyway. With double ultimate, they can combine together, have the double damage that comes down with the ultimates, and then Vulcan to follow up if need be. Where do you expect the pressure to be coming out from the jungles this time around, though, Tolly? Because we saw a lot of focus on solo lane last game.
It could very well be more solo lane action because Baskin is on this Ravana who knows what... Baskin himself is an aggressive player. Ravana, aggressive god. You put the two together, there's going to be fireworks in the solo lane.
Baskin is Ravana, is that what you're saying?
Baskin is Ravana.
Well, we'll see how well Baskin can be Ravana this game. Going to be up against Whalrus, who's playing the Vamana this time round. And in the jungle, well, it's the same matchup, but on different gods. This time round, it's going to be Mirage on Thor and andinster on the Rat.
And it's going to be interesting to see how these two junglers switch up their play styles, like you mentioned, if they're going to continue to play aggressive in the solo lane early on, or if they're going to switch things up and try to shut down these magical hunters in the dual lane.
Well, we do see Meditate and Sprint on the side of the supports one more time as well. It's going to be Meditate for Jigz and the Sprint for Wubbn.
Still the same exact relic choices between the two, not wanting to switch things up too much, as well as Metyankey building that soul stone option, relying on Jigz to be that frontline damage absorber.
Yeah, quite a few interesting mirror matches or back and forth matches between the two. Metyankey and Wowy obviously just played those last game as well, so don't know how to deal with each other in the duo lane this time round. No invades once more. Just keep an eye on where the junglers go after the blue buff. It's always a talking point. Do you sit in the solo lane or do you rotate mid?
It depends on what you really want to do, because if you sit in the solo lane, that means you're going to be able to get the fire giant elementals immediately after. However, left side mid harpies will be contested depending on which dual lane is more aggressive.
Early rotation from the andinster there on the right. He's going to get there soon. And Mirage not even going to look at trying to steal those away with a double tap. Instead, he'll farm up the experience in mid lane and maybe look at the left-hand ones with his boy moswal. But right-hand side, they're going to get the fire elementals as well, so.
They recognize that they're not going to be able to contest the left mids instead. Able to three-way split those elementals gives a huge advantage to SoaR. Going back into the solo lane at level 3 is Baskin.
Well, pressure in the right-hand side onto Whalrus, and the left-hand side, it looks very stable at the moment in terms of mid. A lot of aggression between the two, as you saw in Game 1. This time around, though, there is an Athena instead of a Guan Yu, so you've got to be a little bit more respectful because you're not going to have as much sustain.
Not at all, but you have better setup for your team for these team fights. Now, one taunt into a meatball knockup, that could be death if you don't have purification.
Good point. I mean, when you think about that as well, if you get the taunt into the stun from a Chronos and you've forced a purification, well, the next minute you've got Mirage on Thor potentially ganking your lane to secure a kill for your team.
Wow, we're taking a lot of poke. Gonna get stunned out, forced to use some potions on top of this, and now Wubbn doing a good job grouping up the wave to allow that shield wall to completely clear it.
He is, but that's very good poke coming out from SoaR. Both Wowy and Wowy and Wubbn. Wow, that's annoying. Wowy and Wubbn both taking a lot of poke in that lane, and means they're having to consume a few more potions more than what SoaR did.
I just realized that this team is the M and W. MWs. They have 3 Ws and 2 Ms.
It's actually the WMWM. There you go. That's what they're called.
They should just change their name right now.
WMWM.
That's all they need.
Yep, that's pretty much it. You wait it out. Good job, Tolly. What have you got on? What's SoaR got?
I learned from the detective.
BASJM.
I've learned from the detective that we had earlier on.
Yes. Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Benny, as we call him for short. 2 minutes 20 in the game. Still no first blood just yet, but that's kind of been the style so far. Unless there's some crazy shenanigans between junglers, we don't generally see the first blood till around 6 to 7 minutes at the moment.
Mirage hitting level 5 with the Thor. Andinster still level 4, so he's going to be able to absorb some farm in the solo lane. Now it's going to be looking about these teams grouping around the speed buffs.
Yeah, once again, it's on the solo side of things. Everybody level 5 over here. Double tap a little bit off the mark, and because of that, a little bit of pressure onto Mirage coming out from Baskin. Mirage forced to ultimate as the Rat goes in, but the Rat was looking for moswal, who gets hit by the through space and time as well. Just short range and with no power, however, it doesn't secure a kill.
The mind games from SoaR just all over the place. They grouped up because of the fact that andinster hits level 5 in the solo lane. The next objective was obviously going to be fire giant elementals. Now, Baskin and andinster, they clear the solo lane, so they both make the rotation. Whalrus has to sit behind, so that's going to be a 3-on-2 overall in SoaR's favor. They force out all these ultimates, and now they're going to force the speed.
They're going to look for the steal on the speed anyway, and they actually do manage to do that. andinster picking that one up, and then the right-hand harpies are about to be up at the same time as well. Left-hand side, SoaR now exploiting another weakness in the red buff.
They bullied out Wubbn. He had to back to base. They're grabbing speed. They're grabbing out the red, but the rotation happens. Mirage with the Athena ultimate, shocking Metyankey.
Oh, and now you're going to have to see Jigz jump away, but still he's under a lot of pressure here. Even the archers have turned to his attention. moswal gets double kill off that little skirmish on the right side. That is the first kills of the game.
And now andinster having to try to hold on to his own speed buff. Looks like he was successfully able to hold on to it. Going to grab their own blue buff. So not really losing their own buffs. Red buff, however, going to get invaded on. This is what Randozos need off of these kills.
Yes, it's great. Find the red buff on the left-hand side because of the overextension. Nobody here to defend, so they give that one over to Wowy as well in the duo lane and get the left-hand harpies as well. So a great start one more time for the Randozos. And it was more just SoaR biting off a little bit more than they could chew that.
But I don't expect SoaR to really stop. As I say that, though, andinster does back. I expected andinster to stay in the SoaR lane just to invade that blue buff with Baskin, really respecting the rotation from Randozos in the mid, potentially having that Thor ultimate online.
Well, there's still 3 mid lane for the Randozos here, but they're not going to push to the tier 1 tower and try and get it chipped down. Instead, you're seeing moswal return to base there, get his full boots online. Thankfully, thanks to those 2 quick kills, it did give him a nice little influx of cash.
And Randozos able to make a slight comeback now into this game, despite losing their buff earlier on. Not finding any kills was SoaR during that small invade.
Well, Mirage got to be a little bit careful here. He's completely out of mana, and Baskin's very, very tanky. And now with andinster rotating in, Mirage may have made a bit of a mistake here. Luckily enough, though, Whalrus is going to turn this around with a fantastic rotation, and Baskin falls 3-0.
We talked about the aggressiveness of Baskin. It just did not work out for them. He trusted that andinster would get enough damage confirmed onto Mirage to find the kill, but he underestimated the rotation from Whalrus.
And I guess he underestimated how much damage he could do to Mirage more than anything else there, because Mirage was very risky with what he did. He threw out the double tap and wall and had no mana left against a full-healthed Ravana. That's really risky to do.
Well, it didn't seem that Baskin confirmed on some of his hits, and even if he did, the purification was available for Mirage to avoid and at least buy enough time to the tower to find the 1-for-1 trade. Either way, if Whalrus wasn't there, Baskin was guaranteed dead.
Well, the blue buff on the right-hand side does go the way of Randozos there, not invaded, and it gets over to Whalrus, who picked himself up that kill, which will help him out a little bit more as well.
Gonna try to find maybe another pick. There's no sentry wards on either team at this phase. Still a little early, 6-minute mark. andinster looking for a play in mid. Gets spotted out by Wubbn, having to retreat. Yeah,
Wubbn seems to be hunting now at the moment with this Athena, looking for taunt at every given opportunity. Not scared to dash in, and that's what you need from Athena at this stage.
He was basically being a mobile ward because the speed buff is respawning for Randozos, so he wants to see if nobody from Randozos is coming, then he's going to be able to sneak that under their nose.
Oh, Whalrus took a lot of free poke there. Out of potions on this right-hand side is Whalrus. Snoopy may look for the ultimate across here if he's feeling very cheeky, but what they're really being cheeky about is looking at the speed buff engage.
They're going to be able to knock down andinster, finding the stun onto Wubbn. A nice knock up. Wubbn in a lot of trouble. The Vulcan ultimate not on the mark. Thor in the sky, though.
He is up, and Snoopy's going to go through and find Mirage, and Mirage going to get hit by that unstable vortex. Snoopy may be in a bit of trouble against moswal there, but moswal missing that backfire changes their attention because Wowy's now made a rotation too. Snoopy with a good purification, going to force a rewind out of Wowy. That'll send him back into a very, very dangerous territory.
But now he got knocked up. Nowhere for him to go. The rest of the SoaR going to collapse. andinster taking so much poke, confirming with Wowy, but Snoopy yet again finding the unstable vortex is taunted back in, though, to the Vulcan.
Backfire, not enough damage. Meanwhile, Whalrus chasing out Baskin. If you look to his backside there, he could potentially find 2, but he's hunting Baskin. He wants the 1v1 solo kill. Whalrus trying to juke it out. He'll find it. Tower does assist for a second, but now reinforcements from SoaR here. Whalrus forced to ult this time round, and the speed buff is available here for Randozos to continue marching on.
Sometimes the engage is good, sometimes the counter engage is that much better. Now Randozos finding the respawn, able to get the kills, cleanups, and now able to answer with an invade of their own.
This is a bit quicker now, totally. A kill a minute. That's what we saw at the start in the first week 1. Well, we're getting that again in this game. Gold, pretty much even. Experience, slight lead for SoaR, but that could change at any given moment.
It's just really impressive play overall from SoaR, I would say, especially onto Snoopy with this Janus last pick in both games. He's been able to place his portals so perfectly, and then the last team fight, if Snoopy wasn't level 9 to max out his unstable vortex, I don't expect that he would find the kill onto Mirage.
Over in the duo lane, Wowy getting the best of Metyankey there for a little while. No Doom Orb this time round for Wowy this time, though. He's just gone for the shoes and the Magi, a bit more respectful from him, a bit worried about losing those stacks.
Yeah, you have to be able, because like the last game, it didn't really work out too well for him trying to get effective team fights. Now andinster into the sky looking for Whalrus. His ultimate's down.
Yeah, that's right. No ultimate available, and he catches him just as he tries to dash away. The little baby will stay a little baby, and it'll go back to the crib in terms of the base.
You have to be so careful in these side lanes with these global ultimates from the jungler, whether it's andinster on the Ratatoskr or even Mirage on the Thor. You cannot really leave your tower without any wards in your jungle.
Well, Mirage now rotating to the right-hand side here to try and defend this tier 1 tower, but Baskin is here, and Mirage going to be very respectful, going to double tap and clear out the front minions and then focus on the melee ones there. But there's a difference so far from this game to last. When we see Andy lucky for ganks, we're not seeing Mirage counter gank that we did when Andy was playing the Thor.
It's really hard to counter gank when you're dead to Snoopy, honestly. Snoopy's just been doing a great job finding the kills that he needs to. He's already found 2 in that last little skirmish. 1 death onto Mirage, and he's now 1 level behind Andinster.
Well, I mentioned Doom on the side of Wowy, but actually moswal this time going to pick that one up for the Vulcan in the mid lane. Pretty standard sort of build. Combines very nicely with the new passive the Vulcan has as well for the extra mana regeneration, and the power is not too bad either.
The movement speed on top of this, as long as you're able to connect it on your own, it makes it that much easier when you're waiting for Wubbn to find the taunt, and that's the game plan from Randozos. Wait for Wubbn to set up either moswal, Wowy, or Mirage.
Blue buff on the right hand side has been started by Randozos here. You can see Andy has crept up on the right hand side here as well to join Baskin, but they're going to be too late to look for the blue buff. However, that speed has just been started.
But there is no ultimate on Andinster. If he commits, he doesn't really have a greatest escape. Wubbn with a shield wall dropping, going to reset it with Jigz rotating in, Snoopy behind him.
And it's going to force the taunt early there. Good damage coming out from both, but the flop on point allows the Vulcan ult to come through from Whalrus as well. Andinster gets the kill onto him, and the speed buff is stolen by SoaR.
What a clean engage immediately.
Beautiful.
I expected so much action from Randozos off of the taunt into the Vulcan setup, but there was just no possibility. Wubbn and Waltz drops instantly because of the perfect setup from Jigz.
And that moswal isolated and alone in the mid lane here. Gonna force to purify away and be chased by andinster on the Rat 2. The tier 1 tower mid lane still under pressure. Wowy rotating around, but against 3. He's not feeling himself just yet. I say 3, but now he's gonna be with another man in tow.
But it doesn't matter because through space and time was used to get away. Snoopy and Metyankey casually walking away, getting their own speed buff.
Casually walking away, but I do like the pressure and attempt, but good defense from moswal there on his own against 3 members, able to juke out. Did cost him his purification though, but him surviving very, very important for this game.
Jigz zoning out moswal, gonna find the stun and the purification onto Mirage. The knockup prevented by the Berserker
But the
Mirage.
stun is not, and neither is the flop. Mirage still survives, however, but Baskin doesn't notice him at the backside. Baskin instead, goes onto moswal, who manages to get away just in time. Wubbn there for extra appealing help.
Sneaky Baskin trying to find a kill in the back. He was getting the back right harpies, leaving 1 little harpy probably in response. Not able to clean up anybody from Randozos, but forcing all those relics. Really good play from SoaR.
Well, it's still less than 2k gold lead in favor of SoaR here so far in this game. Experience, though, is a bit of a different story now. This game has been action-packed in terms of fights. However, SoaR doing a much better job of farming because of it.
They're just able to confirm the objectives that they need. So they've stolen speed buff numerous times, able to confirm their own. I think they only lost their own speed buff 1 time after that 1 counter engage from Randozos. And this is why SoaR are such a top-tier team. They know when they can exploit you, and they know when you cannot exploit them.
And still no Gold Furies attempted by either team at the moment. They're still looking for group ups, and Wubbn's going to meet Jigz around the corner here. There is a ward that they're all stood on there, so Jigz knew exactly what was up for the most part there and was just trying to keep them busy.
So with that 1 sentry ward, SoaR should be able to find the counter ward momentarily. Gold Fury still hasn't been looked at by either team because yet again, there's just so much action in the soloing, which is fine because that's what you really want to do when you're playing Ravana for Baskin. You want to get him in these team fights. He always loves to fight.
Still seems very similar to last game though, Tolly, at the same time. I mean, tier 1 tower goes down on the right in favor of SoaR. The tier 1 tower in mid lane has been chipped away at consistently by SoaR. And then when we saw the left-hand tier 1 tower fall, well, that was when the game was pretty much in SoaR's favor, and they started to control things a bit more. Yeah,
Metyankey's been making the rotations to the mid to be able to chip down that mid tower. The Soul, so impressive about taking these tower shots. You cannot leave her uncontested. Wowy has to been keeping up the rotations just to make sure to match it.
And Wowy's taken Book of Thoth this game, so going to have permanent stacks available for himself. Once more, though, Metyankey looking for the Telkines on the Soul. Expect to see that. However, bit of a bait potentially onto Baskin here, because you saw around the corner was Mirage waiting on the Thor, but he doesn't fall for it.
Both teams baiting each other in the solo lane. Snoopy on one side, Mirage on the other, looking for somebody to overstep their boundaries. Jigz now making the rotation with blue buff respawning. Going to be a clean invade from SoaR, but look at this, still no gold here being attempted.
The last time this speed was looked at, they found 2 kills, SoaR, and this time round, Randozos going to back away. Wubbn in mid, forced to taunt there to stop the damage coming out, but the tower is under pressure at the same time as the speed buff, and Randozos can only choose to defend 1.
They're going to be collapsed on if Baskin really wanted to go from the backhand side. Jigz right next to him. 1 belly flop can set up quite a lot. Snoopy recognizing he's in an awkward spot, teleporting to mid. The rest of SoaR, after this mid wave, they're looking to play aggressive. Jigz is waiting.
Yeah, Jigz is waiting around the wings because on the right-hand side, 2 members of SoaR just chilling, farming up a little bit more. Randozos trying to force something, so they're going to try and force a fight now with the Gold Fury attempt. They're bursting it pretty heavily there with the Athena, but Metyankey be first round space and time fired.
It's going to be fired. Metyankey, he found one. Whalrus falls to Jigz. The Gold Fury goes in the way of Randozos though, but Wubbn, I don't think he can get away.
Well, Andy's in the sky as well. Wubbn's definitely going to fall down here. They were trying to cut off options. Wubbn will fall. 3 members of the Randozos die. They do get the Gold Fury, as we said, but that was a big win for SoaR now because they can stop marching on and pushing down towers. Tier 1 first, and the Tier 2 is looking very enticing.
The respawn timers are just a little too long for Randozos. They're going to lose this Tier 2 tower. moswal cannot defend on his own. He's going to get knocked up, and the rest of SoaR should get this kill.
Well, the wall comes out to give him a second, but he backfires into it anyway. Doesn't help out his teammate in the end. Mirage did his best. Tier 2 tower falls, and SoaR deciding what they want to do next. They've kind of stripped the jungle on the right. 2 members going to realize on the left it was a red buff to take.
That's going to be very important for Metyankey or Snoopy to pick it up. Left Tier 1 tower could get aggressed on, especially with the damage coming from the soul with red.
14.5 minutes in, though, and it's been very fast-paced between these two, especially with a Tier 2 tower down already in this game. And after the first Gold Fury, well, it just started to escalate once more.
And this is going to be a situation where SoaR is going to non-stop team fight. They're feeling confident probably after the Tier 2 tower, finding those 4 kills in the long run, the 4th one being onto moswal that tried to defend by himself. Snoopy is 4 levels ahead of moswal at this point.
That's huge.
This is the point in time where team fights, they're not going to stop. You have the mobility from Snoopy and the global presence from andinster. There's just no way moswal is going to survive.
Yeah, can we actually just check experience once more on the graphs? Because the experience is the biggest talking point. 10,000. Huge amount of experience to be in the lead on. Yeah, gold matters, but just raw stats being had from getting those levels in terms of just base damage, base health, base mana pools, just combined so nicely for SoaR here.
Just great positioning from Snoopy in general in these team fights, allowing him to survive and not have a single death so far. Going to get knocked up is Wubbn in the back, but Snoopy, yet again, not wanting to overstep his boundaries because Mirage is looking for the counter engage.
Yeah, they comboed Wubbn very well there to chip him down, making sure he couldn't dash away and reset his dash opportunity, but they don't get enough damage off to really force him back now. Whalrus still on the right-hand side. You did see andinster there, and andinster tries to find the stun, unavailable too, so Whalrus will get out for now. I say that, but Jigz has now come around the corner and forced the ultimate as well.
Just like that, one stun would set up the belly flop. Whalrus recognizing this, going to get CC immune and sustain a little bit more. Defending the Tier 2, but it doesn't matter because that's not what SoaR was going for. They were going for the blue.
Well, you can still see the Hunters are still in the duo lane farming away here as Jigz zoning 3 away in the jungle just so they can secure a speed buff.
That's 2 clean invades yet again from SoaR. Now they're grouping up both on the right. Left-hand side, though, Metyankey and Wowy in a little box.
So onto Jigz, and he takes a bit of free poke, but tanky enough at the moment is the fat man to weather that storm, especially with the chug. Left-hand side, though, Snoopy just smooths space and time around the back. I know Wowy did not recognize it. He's going to go all the way back to Metyankey, and Metyankey's going to hit him with a supernova. Andy in the sky, looking for the dunk, secures the dunk, and with that, a nice quick kill from SoaR. Good rotation.
And now they're going to rotate back to the Tier 1 left side, trying to get an objective off of this kill. On the right side, Whalrus, still level 14, needs to farm it back up, find the way, find the Tier 1 tower, trying to get Randozos back into this game.
And this is what they're looking to do totally now, so they're actually trying to pull and push Randozos around the map, using Janus, using the Ratatoskr, the ultimates combined, just allowing them to find picks and get towers because of it.
We saw how much pressure there was in the solo lane. It caught Wowy completely off guard on the left. They were trading 1-for-1 for so long between Metyankey and Wowy, but the globals favoring SoaR with that Janus.
Very, very much indeed. And now we're going to see the right-hand side being looked at by 2 members of SoaR because Yankee switched things up now with that tower being down. He's focused his attention towards the fire giant side of the map.
He has to, might as well, because the Gold Fury is still not coming up for about 1 minute and 10 seconds. If they can find another pick, especially onto a tanky target like Wubbn or Whalrus, then that can easily open up fire.
No, they're going to find a free red buff, that's for starters, and that's more jungle that just keeps stripping away from Randozos. And it's just been a slow but sure leak coming out from Randozos. They've not been able to stop this leak whatsoever.
Still a 4-level lead for Snoopy over moswal. This is where it gets really tricky finding those easy picks because the strategy from Randozos was trying to fight in a 3v3 spot between Wubbn, moswal, and Mirage. But now, with this much of an experience lead, this is going to be not 3v3s, this is all out 5-on-5s.
Well, SoaR has their own jungle to take at the same time. They will catch Whalrus in the jungle, and that burst damage out from Snoopy was hella good. The curse coming out too to slow down the healing means they will pick up the solo laner for free. His team not in a position to really help him out.
Only a level 15 Vamana, doesn't have that much health, only having Witchblade and Breastplate of Valor, which means Snoopy, Metyankey, and Jigz just blows up Whalrus completely. With that one pick, instantly SoaR setting themselves up for gold here, respawning in 7 seconds.
Baskin and Jigz on zone duty. They both saw that ward drop by Wubbn there, and Baskin's not scared to walk into 4 and keep them all busy. Sentry ward dropped as well to deny a bit more vision there from the Randozos, as Gold Fury still hasn't been pulled just yet.
Janus was not there, as well as the Ratatoskr. They wanted to go back and shop before this next objective. Whalrus is still dead. His teleport is available, so Baskin's going to back off, get some more mana, and teleport after picking up tier 2 Frostbound.
Yeah, he does have teleport as well, but he doesn't look like they're fully committing just yet here, SoaR. And teleport was used on the right-hand side. Very funny to see SoaR just give up the Gold Fury there.
Well, Speed and Blue are respawning yet again. They're going for the smaller plays. They want to be able to prevent any buffs on the side of Randozos. This seems that SoaR is on a mission to deny it.
Yeah, just not allow Mirage to have a single speed buff as much as they can help it. Andy gets another one. It's basically his second jungle now.
It's like clockwork for SoaR. Speed buff's coming up. Check.
Blue buff's coming up on 2 though, and Whalrus is with him. But Jigz in support can look towards Whalrus now, who's under a bit of pressure himself. Luckily though, the boys of Randozos are here to help him out. Athena gets away for now, but Andy in the sky could choose a target. It's going to be on Mirage, space and time. Blocked by the Sanctuary, but not onto moswal, who's forced away. Mirage running for his life, can't get the Berserker Barrage off. In hand from Snoopy, too good.
The portal going to allow Baskin to dive moswal under the tier 2, wrapping behind a Snoopy, trying to find the kill though. moswal, he's caught in an awkward position.
Don't go towards Snoopy, moswal. He didn't see it till it's too late. Already uses the Sanctuary on nothing. One portal will be enough, but now Snoopy's out of position. Purifies the portal though, and still moswal alive, and now Snoopy's out of position.
But he should be fine because it's only Wubbn juking out the meatball. So impressive, the rotation from Whalrus. Jigz falls. He couldn't get away from it, but Baskin able to clean up in response. moswal, surprisingly enough, survives.
But Metyankey, while all this is going on, as you can see, is trying to do the Gold Fury. I don't think he can do this though. Oh, he can now.
andinster is there to show up. He's going to reset the aggro to allow him to take it up a little bit further. And now they're feeling confident. You know, they found the buffs. They found Whalrus at the end, the tail end of that team fight, finding the Gold Fury, extending their goal lead to about 8,000.
8,000 gold, and experience is a hell of a lot more. I want to say more than 8,000 as the red buff is taken one more time by SoaR. If these map efficiency charts are anything to go by, they're going to be high numbers here. But in the sky's Mirage, looking for the pick on Snoopy. Snoopy dipped very quickly though, which makes it very difficult for him to find the escape artist Janus.
Just not in range, unfortunately, for Mirage to find any sort of cleanup after losing his own red and after losing gold right under their noses. And now Randozos, they don't have anything to really do. They have to rely on SoaR to overstep their boundaries. But the way SoaR have been playing in terms of wanting to go for the little calculating guaranteed plays between speed, blue, and red like clockwork, this gives Randozos no time to come back.
No real time whatsoever, especially because the rotation is just coming out over and over again. The funny thing is Snoopy's kind of sat mid lane the whole game. It sounds weird to say because he has gone right and he has gone left, but for the most part he sits mid and becomes this sort of person that can rotate to either side when there is an opportunity for the boys of SoaR.
I mean, he has been. You have to be utilizing your mobility onto this Janus. All you have to do is just really farm, and this is why he's level 19. Tied with both Baskin and Metyankey.
Just went in and got his ult forced immediately. The rest of his team were disengaging there, but Whalrus charged in, and the next minute he's now just lost his ultimate because of that, which is once again a small power play for SoaR because that ultimate is very important for them.
And now there's no ultimates that were used from SoaR to force out Whalrus' ultimate. Just the fear of getting stunned by Bacchus burp into the belly flop alone. And look at the Snoopy gonna use through space and time.
Doesn't connect with anyone though, but andinster is in the sky and will find moswal. moswal under pressure, forced to Vulcan up, but already deleted by Baskin. 5 members strong. SoaR looking through the jungle. Randozos hiding under the tier 2 tower right now.
Baskin was this close to taking that portal just to wrap behind them all the way. Gonna get taunted
andinster
into the time stop. Nice triple.
And Andy goes down to Wubbn, but Mirage is forced to the sky. Baskin goes on Wowy, but Wowy gets the rewind off too. This is a good defense from the Randozos.
They're trying, but they're taking so much damage. Mirage is forced out of this team fight. He doesn't have ultimate to come back in. SoaR, they lose andinster for moswal earlier on, but they're not done. They're trying to get Wubbn.
They're still looking for more poke damage under the tower. Randozos are taking it in turns to go back to base. Tier 2 tower stands, but SoaR Gaming, well, they seem to think the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant not as important as this speed buff, Toli.
I mean, that's all that they really need to do. Just keep taking these buffs. Wait till they get to about 65,000 gold points.
andinster's finally got them on the same page. That's what it is like. Listen, guys, speed wins games. Don't worry about anything else. It's about the speed buff.
I mean, this kind of style from SoaR is really impressive now. Having a nice stun onto Baskin, but he's Wubbn walking away.
Grab the portal over the wall from Snoopy gives an opportunity. Whalrus going to block the option. Baskin does have his ultimate available and will leap away. Metyankey was supporting there to make sure Whalrus couldn't come around any further. So the fight disengages once more.
Whalrus responding and instantly getting chipped down to half health. He doesn't have much magical defense to survive against Metyankey. Him and diving the backline is going to be so difficult.
And it's not just Metyankey though, it's also the Janus he's got to deal with here as well. The unstable vortexes are chunking as well, so Whalrus' frontline capability are a little bit weak here, especially when you see the curse on Baskin as well.
I would have liked to see him pick up an earlier Bulwark of Hope instead of that Witchblade. Now, granted, you're trying to mitigate some of the attack speed onto the Soul, which makes sense, but at the same time, if you don't survive long enough to mitigate that attack speed, you're pretty much dead.
They're looking for the pick. They're not going to find it. They were both lazy backing in the lane there, but got away with a bit of murder.
He's not in this game.
No, he's not. He's in Europe.
That's right.
Very good. Very smart. You were eager for that one, weren't
You're
you?
lucky that F-Dot wasn't here.
I saw that one coming.
Because he would have said, he would have done the jaw rule.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to do it.
No. 24 minutes in, though. 14-7 in kills. That's 21 kills total, which shows the pace of the game here. 18,000 experience. And it's a big experience lead, too, because when you look at the boys of Randozos, not a single member of this team right now at level 20.
It's going to be hard. They just can't really team fight right now. And SoaR, they just taken the team fights that they need to. A little team fight here, a little team fight there. They don't overextend for a Gold Fury. Instead, constantly getting these buffs. And that's all they need to get this kind of a lead.
But why are they playing it so slow at the same time, totally? I mean, they must realize how far ahead they are right now. They keep winning every engagement pretty much. But we don't see them committing to a Gold Fury or the Fire Giant until it's like absolutely perfect.
They're really probably afraid of the throw potential because they'd recognize the potential team fight that Randozos have between their crowd control. You know, Wubbn can set up moswal, Wowy, and Mirage, and that's a big enough factor because this is still the late game form where their abilities will start hurting on the side of Randozos.
I guess, but the longer they like hesitate on this, the more it's going to hurt as time goes on anyway, just because they're going to get those items and levels online.
Well, now SoaR are at a point where they're feeling confident to start forcing this Fire Giant. With speed and blue still down for Randozos, with nice warding control from SoaR, they can control all this space and look for picks with Jigz belly flopping.
We'll keep an eye on Wubbn as well with those taunts and Jigz. Those two supports will be a major initiating factor here. Wubbn is on the front side, space and time used by Snoopy there, looking for a stable vortex, but Jigz gets isolated straight away and meatballed up. Mirage takes to the skies, Jigz still going in and going to intoxicate Wowy for now. This fight isn't great for SoaR right now as Mirage comes down, but Andy's in the sky as well, thinking about getting into the action, looking for the right opportunity to do so, and still the fight rages.
A nice rewind from Wowy, keeping him alive. Baskin diving the back line, trying to get more damage. The Vulcan ultimate, good enough onto Metyankey, forcing him out, but the teamfight continues. The nice knockup preventing Jigz and Baskin. This is the teamfight I was talking about.
But around the back comes Whalrus with a great teleport. Metyankey's isolated, forced to use his Sanctuary to try and stay alive, and he will fall down. The boys of Randozos, they have an opportunity here. Baskin looking to lazy back and manages to get away with it. Randozos pull the Fire Giant. Are they going to go for this?
No, this is so risky. Snoopy canceling his back. Baskin on the backhand side. He's full health. He's going to stop the back from Whalrus. His ultimate was available.
And now he draws them all off the Fire Giant, so it allows his team to get themselves back in position. However, it's still being aggroed at the moment, and Baskin being looked at by two, trying to get some good poke off on Baskin. The portal is opened up for him from Snoopy, but he's being blocked from Whalrus around the side. Whalrus, though, eats a lot of free pokes. Still not a lot of magical resistance on that little baby, but Baskin versus the world right now. Athena dumps down, but he ults away in time.
Beautiful ultimate from Baskin. Whalrus able to walk away. Wubbn having to ulti in. Now he's going to walk away. The rest of Randozos is getting deterred from that one perfect teleport by Baskin.
And all that fight was about was Yankee getting picked by Whalrus with a fantastic teleport. And the moment later, well, it's SoaR on the back foot defending the Fire Giant, but now they want their speed buff again.
That's all they really want, man. They finally got
God,
it. Randozos, congratulations.
GG, F6 SoaR, you're done. You're done.
They failed their mission.
They failed their one mission, and he completely stated to them before this game, listen, speed buff is the most important objective.
Randozos going to start the Fire Giant with 5 members up from SoaR, not respecting the possible rotations. Now, teleport is down from Baskin.
But they do realize it, and Andy's going to the sky already. Fire Giant is pretty low, so he may still be held, and the Vulcan ult goes down. Fire Giant goes the way of the Randozos, and immediately they try to dip. Snoopy doesn't have his ultimate just yet, but Baskin's keeping him in combat. Mirage dunks onto Baskin to slow him down, and the turret will too. But Baskin's not had enough. He wants to keep them in combat. The rest of the boys of SoaR are now coming around the corner, but SoaR do not have any ultimates available. Snoopy's is not up yet.
They should be able to get this tier 2 tower. The rest of Randozos has to run away. If they lose 1 or 2 members, that could be the right side Phoenix. So at least SoaR respond with a tier 2 tower. It's going to be an ultimate on the left-hand side, trying to go for the gold, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like a quick Gold Fury attempt coming out from the boys of SoaR there. They got caught with the pants down by the Randozos there. And Randozos
great call.
A tier 2 and a gold fury for it. Good play.
That was a great call from Randozos because they can't really do anything off of this Fire Giant, but it delays the game that much further because SoaR with Fire Giant would be impossible to defend these towers and Phoenixes.
I do want to say as well, though, I think they knew Snoopy's ultimate was down because they wouldn't have gone for that if they didn't know Snoopy's ultimate was up because it's so risky against the Janus with that cross-the-map ultimate that could come out. That was a risky play if they didn't know it was up. They clearly did.
And the teleport was down from Baskin. Those two big important cooldowns made sure that nobody from SoaR can really get in position. Now, granted, they had the ultimate from andinster to contest with the global presence, but the damage from moswal's ultimate was enough to confirm the Fire Giant.
And this all comes off the speed buff. It's all off the speed buff, and he's gearing up now. Tier 1 town on the right-hand side goes down for Randozos. Whalrus going to march on the Tier 2, Baskin there to defend. As the rest of the Randozos, though, they head to the left-hand side looking for the Tier 1 over there.
They have to be careful, though, with their team fights. They really need Wubbn to force the issue. Right after these Tier 1 goes down, they could potentially look for a dash taunt play. Jigz, though, is very tanky. Not necessarily want to go on him.
Very wise from Randozos. Not even going for Tier 2s. Just focus on Tier 1's 5-man unit. Moving to mid lane now with the Fire Giant still on all of them. Whalrus going to weather the storm with that poke under the tower from Metyankey there. But they won't commit SoaR for the Tier 1 as you'd expect. Will they look for the Tier 2 defense, though? On
the right-hand side, it seemed Baskin and andinster were thinking about wrapping around underneath. So Randozos, they put 1,000 gold under their pockets before backing off. So at least making something out of this Fire Giant.
Well, the main thing is getting themselves to level 20, I think, is the biggest talking point for them to do first of all. Yes, the gold lead needs to come down as well, but get yourself to max level because that's what pretty much all of SoaR have done.
They've been doing a great job methodically getting all the buffs away from Randozos, but giving up the biggest buff of all of this Fire Giant. So Randozos now delaying the game that much further.
The Fire Giant, well, they've got about a minute left on this buff for the time being, so they could look for a bit more here at the Tier 2 tower. However, moswal's a little bit delayed on the Vulcan here, and they should probably wait for him. They don't want him too far back, so he can provide some extra damage.
You have to wait for the Vulcan before Wubbn decides to dash taunt, or maybe he could get caught out here because andinster is right around that corner.
Yeah, andinster and Baskin hanging out on the right-hand side here, but the poke onto Mirage is pretty good coming out there. moswal now joins the team as well, as Jigz takes a lot of free punishment, but in goes Baskin, and so does andinster.
He's going to barely miss off the mark, force a dash away through space and time, does not connect either, and now Randozos, they can re-engage.
Well, do they re-engage? Mirage got poked out, and there was Whalrus on his own on the front side. He took a lot of free poke too, and SoaR thinking about pushing on a little bit, but they could just hold back and wait for this Fire Giant to wear off now.
This just goes to show how far behind Randozos truly are. Through space and time and andinster's ulti did not connect in that team fight, and Randozos still got poked out. Mirage had to defensively ult away, Whalrus had to dash away.
Looking to try and abuse the issue now. We're looking for the Tier 2 tower on the left. However, Randozos here to defend again. Whalrus back with full health after using teleport. Getting poked one more time. Still, not much magical resistance on him. He's working on a little bit more now, but it's very late.
They're still going to be aggressive, though. They have every ultimate except Mirage's, and that's going to be good enough to force the issue. One good Vulcan ultimate is all Randozos need to really win a team fight.
And that Vulcan in the mid lane, 3, 2, and 1 is moswal. Still needs level 20, which will give him another power burst to that ultimate as well, if you can get to that.
It seems that he just needs about 1 or 2 more solo waves to get that level 20 mark, and that's going to be a huge power play. Fire Giant fading away from Randozos, and this is going to be important for SoaR to recognize and then look for a Tier 2 tower siege on the left. But they can't give up positioning around Fire.
They extend the game to Randozos here, but they don't take control of it or even things out whatsoever here, totally. They catch up a bit in terms of levels. They're still down on gold. The Fire Giant just bought them time more than anything else.
Which is important when you're a Vulcan, right? You want to get to that late game form, as well as some of these items. Being able to finish off Ratatoskr, build up those Doom Orb stacks after the respawn timing is very important.
Yeah, we'll see how they can do with the next Fire Giant, though, because it's about to start coming up soon. Less than 15 seconds remaining as I finish Beacon. So with that, 14-8, still SoaR coming out on top in kills.
Both teams looking for a positional battle. Really good wards on both sides. Sentry wards aggressively from SoaR on the top left mid Harpy. Gonna get spotted out though.
And the Fire Giant does spawn up. And keep an eye on Wubbn. He's looking for the big taunt if he can find him. At the same time, Baskin will be looking to try and turn that around and stop Wubbn getting in too close to his front line, sorry, to his back line, which is Metyankey and Snoopy. They've got to be careful about positioning though, those two. They seem to stand on top of each other quite a bit, do the SoaR boys. 5
members grouped up around that corridor. Wubbn has his dash charged. He's looking for something. The Fire Giant has has not been started by SoaR quite yet, but they're still looking for something with Baskin leading the charge.
Seem to be very patient. I mean, I say they're patient, but all of a sudden they'll just all ult at the same time and look for the big highlight reel play as a team, which hasn't worked out so far for them. Baskin going to get taunted and get a little bit of poke from the team, but tanky as he is, he'll be able to weather the storm no problem.
He probably took 100 damage total.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well.
He only took 100 damage, and now SoaR, they're just still waiting ever so patiently. They want Randozos to overstep beyond the Fire Giant and get collapsed on. Wubbn did back, but he has his teleport available. SoaR, they don't really see that.
Well, the tier 2 tower on the left-hand side is going to get pushed by minions soon in favor of the Randozos. There you can see there's 2 minion waves heading down there slowly but surely, which is delaying SoaR's push power in that lane. And if it doesn't get looked at eventually, the tower will just slowly chip away.
And now moswal hitting level 20, so once that Vulcan ultimate connects onto SoaR, that's going to be a lot of trouble. And so far, so good in terms of SoaR avoiding that Vulcan ultimate. Every single engagement, I've only seen one ulti been really successful.
Yeah,
and that's not about like moswal missing these ultimates, it's just more about SoaR always being aware of it.
I do respect Randozos' ability to disengage from the fight though and keep themselves alive. They've done a very good job of that. But now, SoaR have had enough. They're going to start the Fire Giant up here. Threshold down. They're forcing in the boys of Randozos, looking to collapse. And there goes Jigz with a flop. However, gets taunted immediately and stunned in place. Jigz taking the brunt of the damage from Randozos for now. And the sky though is andinster. And he finds out moswal, who was alone, but he sanctuaries very well to avoid the through space and time.
What just so on point is Snoopy. Whalrus forced to use the ultimate of his own. I'm really surprised that Wubbn didn't find a nice dash taunt earlier on to Metyankey and Snoopy around that Fire Giant. Just nobody in position to really capitalize off that. And now SoaR, they bully everyone from Randozos out. They're going to try to force this.
Wubbn's trying to keep him busy, and Mirage is going to back him up with walls, having a good damage coming out onto the 2 carries at the back line. Baskin focusing out Wowy one more time as Whalrus is on the front side, getting chipped away at by Metyankey once more. Metyankey feeling himself a little bit here though. Could be under pressure because of it. The Vulcan ultimate a little bit too early as Disapparate comes out. SoaR fall back once more.
But they still forced the Sanctuary out of Metyankey. He was worried that he was going to get hit by that late game Vulcan ultimate. This is going to allow Whalrus potentially to find the dive onto this soul, because now he does have magical defense. He's finished off the Bulwark of Hope with the Spirit Robe.
And the big thing I've seen, Snoopy and andinster keep going for this play of the rat ult in, finds the knock up into the through space and time straight away at the same time. It looks amazing if you can land it, but if you attempt it 15 times, it's still not working. Just give up on it.
Well, moswal had a great Sanctuary to prevent the Snoopy from having another highlight reels, but that's going to allow Randozos to still delay it ever so slightly. Wowy not level 20 quite yet.
Well, Mirage is running on the left-hand side there on the Thor coming through, going to clear out the ward. Fire Giant started one more time. Wubbn leading the charge with Whalrus now in tow with a little bit more magical defense this time, but in we go again. Andy's in the sky and the Randozos know about it.
And Wowy getting off the rewind before through space and time, landing back down is the Thor.
Oh my god, Randozos could win this fight off this. Jigz is very low, but Mirage is too. Forces Sanctuary, Snoopy around the corner, looking for the portal. Sable Vortex off the mob too. Finally, Mirage goes down. Now they focus on to Snoopy, and Snoopy's one hit from death. A taunt from Wubbn's good, and they'll get the kill for Whalrus. Baskin takes out one, but Wubbn responds with Jigz. Still though, moswal under pressure and forced to ult in place. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage from there, but Metyankey joins the boys of SoaR now, and one by one do the clowns fall. Wubbn forced back to base as Andy's still looking for the kill.
You can't get away from Baskin and andinster, especially with speed buff. That's 4 for 2 so far. That could be a mid-Phoenix, as Whalrus does have to back. Baskin could easily tank this. The damage from Metyankey is there, but respecting the fact that Whalrus is going to be healthy coming back from base, instead probably going to look for the Fire Giant once they get healthy.
These fights though, they last so long that the respawns I've chipped away at. Again, look at Mirage. He was the first one to die in that engagement on the side of the Randozos, and he's going to be up in 15 seconds. And I don't think you're going to see Randozos take the Fire Giant down within those 15 seconds. Well, 10 seconds now. They're not even at the Fire Giant yet.
No, not at all. Looking at the damage off of that team fight, 14,000 for SoaR, almost 9 for Randozos. It was really close for them to find those last hits on the 3 surviving members from SoaR.
Snoopy is about to spawn, and he does have through space and time available on that Janus. So Whalrus is going to try and stop the boys of SoaR doing it. They focus him instead now and get a good chunk of burst off on him. He does have Big Baby available for him as Andy goes to the sky, but now that ultimate feels wasted. The Fire Giant though is still leashed, and the Fire Giant goes the way of SoaR.
SoaR get the endgame objective that they wanted to originally. They also force out the ultimate from Whalrus, so this is going to allow them to dive the Phoenixes very efficiently without having to worry about their backline getting penetrated by Whalrus.
Yeah, this game has been very interesting though, Tolly, for the simple fact of I don't know whether it's both teams are playing very, very well, or there's a lot of small misplays going on that's lasted this long between the game. It's a lot of respect being shown, I want to say, from SoaR.
That's the main key word that you mentioned, respect. They respect the Vulcan ultimate so well. Sanctuaries is always being saved for that one important cooldown. Randozos, they've had some opportunities. They found an invade here and invade there early game, but not able to keep up with SoaR's impressive invades.
Can we just check out with moswal for a second on that Vulcan? I just want to see how much gold he's got in hand. Actually 77. Sadly, he's so close to finishing off that Soul Reaver that could really turn things around for the boys of Randozos. You keep mentioning that ultimate coming out from him. But if he lands one with a Soul Reaver on it, one of those frontliners will be destroyed.
Or even just a meatball backfire combination off of Wubbn's taunt, but it's not... There's no opportunity for that because it's SoaR always on the aggressiveness. They're playing so in the backline. Like, Baskin just keeps diving in the backline with his ultimate, and you have to respond to it because here comes andinster with his ultimate.
Well, here we go again. Phoenix now under siege for the first time this game. 5-minute giant buff on all the members of SoaR and stunned onto Wubbn from Jigz. Meatball off the mark from moswal as the Phoenix is chipped away at some more. Jigz happy to tank for days and looks for the pickup of Wowy on the back with the Chronos. Chronos forced to Sanctuary. Mirage takes to the sky to try and help out as the rewind puts Wowy in an awkward spot.
There was space and time being used, not on the mark, though. Wowy being able to survive the supernova, but the Vulcan ultimate connecting onto Jigz, but that's a tanky Bacchus. You're not going to be able to bring him down.
The Phoenix goes down and everybody stands on both the teams. The taunt from Wubbn's good though, but Whalrus is already destroyed before he can even get the big baby form off.
Not going to be able to survive is Whalrus. Barely able to survive is Wowy. Back under his fountain, SoaR transitioning into that middle Phoenix after securing the left one.
Yeah, but now the boys of Randozos can try and defend the right-hand one if SoaR try and take the fight. Wubbn could lead in the charge with the taunt if they can. The wall and taunt are good. The damage from Wowy's ult there, 0.2, but the tanky targets to the front line absorb the brunt of it. The Phoenix is still under threat.
Metyankey did so much damage with his stellar burst right off the bat. That Soul Reaver just chunking Wubbn away, having a great initiation with that taunt into the Chronos stun, but it didn't matter because just the regen from SoaR with his Fire Giant, they're able to get a kill and able to get all 3 Phoenixes.
Approaching 40 minutes in this game now. There's been 29 kills and Randozos have done their very best to hold on as long as possible, but with 3 Phoenixes down, you can spell the end for these boys here in this second game.
SoaR just waiting for the right opportunity. The respawn from Whalrus is in 5 seconds. They could look for a nice through space and time to dissect a teamfight. Jigz still leading the charge. He wants to look for the nice belly flop.
Cheeky backdoor, you reckon?
No, I don't think it's going to be a cheeky backdoor. The Titan's not that low where you really want to commit to it.
That's true. Well, they're going to group up in mid lane here. 5 minions pouring in from left and right at the same time, and here I am stuck in the middle with SoaR. 5 members strong, Jigz and Baskin alongside him.
Trying to find something is Jigz still in the front line with Baskin. Look how far back Snoopy is, though. He just wants to be set up for that through space and time.
And he's always looking for his unstable vortexes over and over again. Has Soul Reaver ready here, Snoopy. So the next person he hits will take a big chunk. But talking about taking a big chunk, it was Jigz. Space and time off the mark, and Jigz under threat there. He will survive for a second, but Mirage gets credit for the kill. Baskin tanking up the Titan here, and the Titan not being focused as Wowy falls down to andinster. They're looking for kills here, storing not the Titan for the time being.
They want to try to make it an easier penetration now. Vulcan ultimate doing so much damage, but the Titan does fall. Second game going to SoaR. Very clean.
A very long game. Would you really call that clean, though?
I would say so because of just how many speed and blue buff invades. Now, the fact that Randozos snuck that one Fire Giant delayed things quite heavily.
Yep.
But either way, yeah, SoaR was very clean that game.
Yeah, I want to say that Randozos, for me, look actually really good this season. A lot better than what we've seen from previous seasons from the Clowns overall.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking pretty dangerous overall and even putting up a good opposition against SoaR, who SoaR did 2-0 them, though, and they will climb to 10 points in the league now because of that.
But still, an impressive play from Randozos. Despite not finding a single win there, they've been improving slowly and surely game after game, and that's what you want to do to prepare yourself for the LAN.
The best news is they get to come to the LAN still, but at the moment they won't be happy with only coming out with 1 point after all these games they played. They played 4 sets so far and only found that 1 point. Very disappointing for them. They're just going to keep up with the motivation to want to play as well. Keep the morale high, take the wins from what as well.
And you have to find the wins as they come, whether or not you fight or whether or not you control the map. And looking at the map efficiency versus combat efficiency, SoaR, they've just been on point with those invades.
That's a very high map efficiency coming out from SoaR as well. They did a very good job of that. And you can actually see the map control coming up next on your screen. You'll see exactly how he started off. At 5 minutes in, SoaR began the game well. Keep it on the speed buff. That's the big one here, the speed buff.
speed buff and the blue buff is going to start tilting into SoaR's favor. This is after 10 minutes, 54%, and then slowly and surely, look at that, they're just constant invading. And then this is going to get to a point where the red buff was starting to get stripped away on top.
But 20 minutes in the game, and they had 85% of the speed buffs, and it keeps climbing and climbing and climbing throughout this game. It does dip for a second, though, and that's when we saw the Randozos come back into it, because then they got angry. And then they got the Fire Giant.
They got the Fire Giants, just snuck it completely under SoaR's noses. They didn't have the through spacing time. They didn't have the teleport onto Baskin, and that allowed Randozos to delay the game. They allowed moswal to get to level 20, but they couldn't synergize with Wubbn taunting into those important cooldowns.
Not well enough. And the best news about that as well, Snoopy got off to a very good set there on the Janus as well. That's very important for that squad to find the morale boost for him as well. Obviously, with all these rotations through maps and things, and a lot of people putting him down, saying he's not as good as he is. It's worked out okay for him.
Yeah, he's been able to make a lot of highlight plays on the Janus this time around. Hunters on the other games before, they even had respect bans for him in the first game.
Well, don't forget, all these guys are playing for Worlds, and you guys can come to Worlds too. hi-rezexpo.com. Head over there and get your tickets to come join us. We'll be having Smite there for PC, Smite for console, as well as other hi-rez games, including Paladins, that you can come and attend. It's a great weekend, the last 4 days of crazy shenanigans.
Yeah, and up next is going to be Luminosity against Enemy, and we're going to see that set momentarily.
Momentarily. We'll be back after this short break.